Hey everyone, this is UC. Welcome to the weekly episode of I Trade Price. It is July 26th, Sunday, around 12 Eastern. So, the idea of this video clip is to go over some of the core charts that we follow here in multiple time frames and give you a broader view that I have in my mind and sort of help you narrow down your trades to a more manageable and focused list. That way, when the time comes and the price moves, you know at which level to execute appropriate trades. I don't like to create any bias going into the week, so I'll sort of give an unemotional view of the charts and discuss the case for both bears and bulls. Okay, so here's a weekly chart of Amazon. You can see we are still in a healthy uptrend with the couple of weeks of a little bit of a pullback, and earnings next week will can act pretty wild, I would say, with all the expectations built around this name. So let's just take a look at it technically. So we are holding this 2890 weekly support level, which is also the touch point for this uptrend line. And going into the daily view, you can see we did kind of give a bullish bar on Friday, which did test this uptrend line and sort of bounced back and closed above the 20 SMA. So next week, let's see how do we start with earnings. Looks like on July 30th, this can kind of remain choppy with super pricey premiums, inflated premiums. If the stock does not move in the intended direction of your trade, just the decay and inflated premium can act weird on your premium prices. So just kind of keep that in mind as you trade. For bears to kind of keep the uh, upper hand, we need to see prices kind of roll over and start breaking down from this uptrend line, and eventually 2890 level is the weekly support that we formed last week. Anything over and above Friday's high 3032 is sort of a significant level that bulls will be kind of keeping in mind to start seeing some move to the upside, but it can remain kind of choppy until the earnings are announced. So just kind of keep that in mind as you look at this thing. All right, let's start with Apple weekly time frame. Did close on a weaker note, and for the first time since this whole up channel, you see we are seeing the price close below the trend, this channel bottom right here. So in the daily time frame, it's kind of more obvious. You can see every time we would be around that channel bottom, we'll get a bullish bar right here, right here, but we did not see it. But this time, and it eventually broke down. It did give us a hammer bar on Friday, which is sort of a higher low so far from this level. But anything below that Friday's level of 356, we have our 50 SMA support, which really nicely coincides with the weekly support of 351 right here, where we have these multiple touch points in a strong bounce area we can consider. So good volume on Friday and even on Thursday. So kind of see which way we sort of roll over. But with earnings, this can again be tricky, choppy, range bound until the earnings are announced. However, uh, I mean, with this Friday's bar looking like this, and depending on how we open up on Monday morning, if we are to kind of start going down, I can look for a bounce rate from this 351 50 SMA weekly support level. Anything below that, 344 345 is a good heavy support. I don't anticipate it can go below that before the earnings, but you never know. But I'm willing to take chances and play bounces from these levels, okay, on any weakness in the early part of the week. Anything more than 372, 378, 383 are the intraday resistance levels. Uh, but for right now, the pressure can remain downwards since we have broken this channel last week. So we can definitely see a move a little bit up and kind of range bound till the earnings are announced. Okay. Microsoft did come out with earnings which did not really move the stock that much. Uh, just it kind of remained sort of range bound with the rest of the market. We are still in an uptrend, a little bit of pullback here, and going to the daily view, we did see this not doji looking, but sort of a hammer looking bar on Friday, which did close weak, as you saw that it did not go above Thursday's low. So still weak, but maintaining this uptrend for right now. Anything below Friday's low, we have 50 SMA, which is this blue line around 196, and anything below that, we have this heavy weekly support of 193.50. You can see multiple touch points here, which can be a good support as we have held that level in the recent past here. Anything over and above 203 means that this uptrend has been holding and is providing support, and we can start seeing the move towards this 20 SMA, which has started to kind of goes sideways now and has lost that upward looking sort of curve. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, that it can be a broad range of sideways action until these earnings are resolved from Amazon and Apple. Okay. Netflix also came out with earnings. Not much happening since the earnings. We saw a very range bound week for Netflix kind of a stock between 506 and 467. So just about 30-40 points worth of range after these two big weeks of ranges. So this is a dark cloud cover just by looking at the definition of that pattern, where we have this big bullish trend bar and then immediately followed by a big bearish trend bar that closed below the 50% of this bullish trend bar. So this can be a confirmation of a little bit of downtrend, a pullback. Again, it's not really that significant, but just something to keep in mind, that we can see some prices, lower prices in Netflix towards the breakout area 440, 432, and on any pullback. But overall, in a longer time frame, the trend is still up. Going into a daily time frame, this 467 area provided good support, which was a breakout area previously towards the earlier part of July. So let's see if in the daily time frame, on any weakness, 50 SMA followed by a more psychological support level of 450 provides any support. I'm not aggressively bullish on this name until we see the prices move back above 500, or we get some sort of bullish structure and price acceptance here above 467, 450 area. Okay, so I'll just kind of avoid that for now. We just have only a credit spread open for this name. NVDA, again, nice upward channel, trading right now towards the low end of its channel. It can be a good support as it traded and opened below the 20 SMA, but the trendline support kind of gave it a nice support and bounce, and along with the horizontal support around 396. It did manage to close above 20 SMA, which is a good healthy sign. However, as you can see, we have these multiple touch points here in 424, which can be actually, let's just highlight that, which can be a resistance on the way up, but we need to kind of overcome that area to maybe you can call it a bull flag kind of a pattern here as well, where we can kind of see something like that. And let me edit it just to make sure that it looks the same. So yeah, something like that, where if we kind of move above 424 area, we can be aggressively long, but until then it can again push sideways and look for this channel bottom to hold, along with this weekly support level around 388 on any weakness. If that provides supports, price does not want to go below that, keeps coming back up, gives you a hammer bar, that means that this is a good support area and one can go long against the low of that bar to kind of try to touch this flag up for this channel right here. So okay, BA, very range bound. Weekly chart, you can see we had this cluster, weekly cluster, and now again we are in a very similar price pattern cluster here, where we did see a breakout and then the prices kind of just went sideways and just kind of getting very range bound with not much movement. So on the top end you have 190, and on the low end for the past few weeks now you have 167. So only $20 to $25 range in this name. And you can see the daily chart here, the 20 SMA, more of the daily bars are closing below the 20 SMA. We only have maybe a couple of instances, which is one right here and one right here, where we saw a close above the 20 SMA, right? So otherwise it has been sideways, choppy, weak, not a really great healthy price action. However, with some conviction, it is holding this 167, 170 area, and now it is right above its 50 SMA. Let's see if it gives up that. We can definitely see a little bit of flush down towards 156 in this name if we are to lose this. Let me just kind of highlight that a little bit. If we just lose this support area, which is right here, and then 50 SMA, if we just lose that 167, we can see a quick move down towards 160 to 156 support. Okay, but you see the overall structure where the daily candles are below 20 SMA. They're just kind of closing below that, which is not a healthy sign for right now, at least. ROKU, nice price action, has managed to break out from this 135 in the few weeks ago, and since then just got nice pullback, sideways action, very I'd say giving moves on both sides of its pivot, which is around 153, because half of these bars kind of, I wouldn't say close above that, but the price does manage to go above 153, and then by the time the day is over, it gives us a top wick where sellers come back in control. However, sellers even don't see a follow through move below 147, and we have been closing nicely above that level 147 since the past few weeks now, which is a good sign, and which means that it's in this consolidation phase. Okay, so look for that range to be broken. On the top side we have 160 that we want to be broken. On the upside, a close above 160, even 158 is a healthy sign, because we don't have any close above 154.40 or something like that. So any close above even 154 is a healthy bullish sign. Okay, so just kind of keep an eye on for that. 20 SMA is still upward sloping. So yeah, nothing wrong with this name. It's just kind of a tricky because it's still range bound. Tesla couldn't give us a healthy close after its earnings. We did sell off, so this area becomes a lot of resistance right here. You can see every time we trade here we get this nasty looking big bearish trend bars, and now on the downside we have a good support around 113.66. That was a congestion zone here. We did manage to break out from that level, which is this bar right here. So the low of that bar is around 1350, 1360, which is what we held this past Friday, which is also happens to be a 20 SMA. So if we lose that, we can see some further selling towards 1300, 1266. If we do manage to hold above this level, I won't be overly aggressive until we start seeing move back about 1460 or 1500 even, to kind of start feeling more slightly neutral to bullish. Otherwise the focus remains that, hey, look for this one to break down from 1366 or this 20 SMA. If it does, this uptrend line, long-term uptrend line, can be a good target on any pullback. But again, this name's trades very volatile in nature, so just keep that in mind as you trade that one. Spies, Still in an uptrend, did not give up as much as the Qs, which is the technology focused index. Looking at the weekly time frame, oops, this is monthly. Let me go in the weekly. We had this sort of a bull flag breakout. Let me just kind of highlight that again. The past few weeks, like, something like that, where we just kind of broke out from and then couldn't really see a follow-through move above the flag, as we did see a hammer bar, but then we saw this inverted hammer bar last week, which is not a good sign. However, it's still holding on the top range of this this previous week's hammer bar, so which is okay, in a grand scheme of things. A daily time frame holding this 319 area as a support. Anything below that, we have this 20 SMA support, which kind of comes in around 316, 317. So look for that to provide support. Anything below that, we have 315 as a weekly support. That was sort of a breakout area, pivot area, where we kind of eventually broke out from. So any pullback, that should give some support on any pullback. However, if you are to start moving back up, I would look for 323 area to be taken out. Let me make that level right here. Let's see 323, which is sort of the middle of its previous week's range. So I would like the price to go above 323 to start thinking long, start thinking bulls. Otherwise, we remain choppy, we remain range bound, and kind of give up that move towards this uptrend line to weekly support and this 20 SMA in daily time frame. So a lot of support below the Friday low. Just look for that as a bounce play if that happens. Okay. Last but not least, Qs. We are at this very interesting point where you can see we are in this upward channel, and at the moment we are holding that channel right here. Not sure if we give up that early in the week or not, but something to kind of keep in mind. Oops, let me close that. So let me zoom in. You can see we have multiple touch points on this weekly support of 251 right here, and then right here. So this was the resistance on the way up, and now it's become a support on the way down. Let's see if we give up this support and start rolling back down from here, or this one becomes a good trend line channel support, weekly price horizontal support, and start moving back up towards the mid-range of this recent move down. So 260 and up, definitely bulls are back in control. Anything until 260, we can still roll over, we can still form a sort of a lower high. So just kind of keep that in mind, because we have this high right here, lower high, and this lower swing high. So anything, if it's still a bounce, it will still only be considered a bounce until we start seeing move back above 265. Otherwise, we do risk making a lower high and rolling over eventually from this this channel, because Apple has broken that channel, which has a significant impact on Qs. So just keep that in mind. All right, hope you guys like this video, and like always, if you have any questions, comments, kindly leave us a note. Thank you, and have a good rest of your Sunday.